Hey everyone, welcome in to Unit 8, Day 1 notes. Today we're going to focus on classifying and adding and subtracting polynomials. Our objective today will be that students will be able to classify, add, and subtract polynomials with 80% accuracy or higher. Okay, so welcome to the first day of Unit 8. Let's get started with the introduction to polynomials. We're going to start with some vocabulary. Our first vocab term, polynomials. So polynomials are terms connected by addition and subtraction signs. And there we have it. That's what a polynomial is. And even further, right, within that definition, we talk about terms. We have to understand exactly what a term is. And a term is a number, a variable, or a number and a variable together. Okay? So let's take a look at a few examples here. Identify how many terms are in each of the following. So A, we have 2x minus 3y plus 4. So remember, a term is separated by an addition or subtraction sign. So we have 2x, 3y, and 4. Each of those are separated by an addition or subtraction sign. So therefore we have 3 terms. Take a look at B. We have 5x and then 1, and they are separated by a subtraction sign. So therefore we have 2 terms. And this last one, 3xyz squared. There are no addition or subtraction signs, therefore we have 1 term. Okay, so next we're going to talk about degree. The degree of a polynomial is the biggest exponent of all time. That should say terms, not time. Not the biggest exponent of all time. The biggest exponent of all terms. So if we look at all the terms in the expression or in the polynomial, the degree is the largest one. So identify the degree in each of the following. In A, we have 4x to the 5th power, so the degree of this is 5. Right? And we're going to talk about exactly what we call these degrees in a minute here. The next one, if there's no exponent there, remember there's an invisible 1. So that is our degree, the largest degree. The next one, 5, there is no variable or exponent, but it's just a constant. So our degree is 0. And in letter D, we have negative 2x to the 3rd. Again, the degree is 3. Note, if there is not a variable, then the degree is 1. Oh, if there's not a variable, the degree is 0. If there is not a variable, then the degree is 0. Okay. So moving forward here, fill in the following charts. These terms are used to classify polynomials. So when we're classifying polynomials, we're going to look at the degree and the number of terms. The degree and the number of terms. So name using degree. If the degree is 0, we call that a constant, which is that little note we just talked about. If the degree is 1, so if there's no exponent there with the variable, then it's linear. These are expressions that we've worked with all first semester, linear expressions. Then if the degree is 2, we call that quadratic. If it's a degree of 3, we call it cubic. If the degree is 4, we call it quartic. And then if it's to the nth degree or anything else higher than 4, we just call it to the nth degree. So if it's 5, 5th degree, 6, 6th degree, 7, 7th degree, and so on. One thing I do want to point out that we have to be aware of is, let me get my highlighter here. For 2, it's quadratic, and 4, it's quartic. So even though quad, you think 2, you think 4, quadratic is referenced for a degree of 2, and quartic, kind of like quarter, is referenced with a degree of 4. Okay, now if we go to the right, if we see a polynomial and we count the number of terms, so the number of terms are separated, right? Each term is separated by an addition or subtraction sign. Number of terms, if there's one term, we call it a monomial. If there are two terms, call it a binomial. Three terms, we call it a trinomial. And four or more, we call it a polynomial. And also, polynomial is also a general term that we use when discussing these. Okay, let's take a look at some examples in their table. So we have our expression 8x minus 4. The degree of this. Well, the largest degree in this expression is that 1. And if we classify it by a degree, if there's a degree of 1, remember it's a variable with no exponent there, we call it linear. The number of terms in this expression, there are 2 of them, separated by a subtraction sign. And if we classify by terms, there are 2 terms, so this is a binomial. It's crucial to get an understanding of what we're going to call each type of expression, because we're going to be using these interchangeably throughout the entire unit, and really being able to reference and understand and visualize what we're talking about in that conversation is going to be a key piece that helps with throughout this unit. The next example, the degree of 2. It's the largest degree in that expression. If we're classifying by degree of 2 is a quadratic. Remember, that's a tricky one because we think quad 4, but a quadratic is if it's a degree of 2. Number of terms, we have 3 terms in this, so it's a trinomial. All right, let's have you all try the next 3 on your own. I'll give you a few minutes. Go for it, and I'll see you back in a few. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at those bottom 3 examples. So the first one, our largest degree is 3. So the degree of the expression is 3. We call that cubic. And the number of terms, there are 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that makes it a polynomial. The next example, there's 1 term, and that term has a degree of 7. So we just say 7th degree. Anything higher than 4, we just go the number to the degree. And like I said, there's 1 term, so that's monomial. The next example below, our largest power is a 2. So again, 2 is quadratic, 4 is quartic, 2 is quadratic. And then there are 2 terms for a binomial. Okay, let's go ahead and flip to the next page. So, a rule of thumb, when we write polynomials, we want to make sure that they are in order from the biggest exponent to the smallest exponent. So after we look at the entire expression, we want to rearrange to make sure that term with the largest exponent, the largest degree, is listed first, and we list it all the way down until we have the smallest degree. So the first thing we're going to look at is adding polynomials. So you can add polynomials by combining like terms, then classify or name the polynomial. So when we add polynomials, we are adding, right? There is an addition sign between them. In the future, we will be multiplying. There will be no sign between them when we are multiplying, right? When things are next to each other in math, it means we are multiplying. That's what where we are going. But just a reference, because I know some students get confused by that from year to year. When there's an addition sign between them, or in a few minutes you're going to see when there's a subtraction sign between them, we're going to add them or subtract them. This one has an addition sign. So when we have an addition sign, we can just drop the parentheses. So 2x squared plus 4x plus 3 plus x squared plus 2x plus 6. So we can just drop the parentheses and go ahead and combine like terms. So I'm going to look. I have 2x squared plus x squared. 2x squared plus x squared gives us 3x squared. The next term I see is 4x, and we're going to add that to 2x, 6x, and then I have our constant of 3 plus our constant of 6 gives us 9. Notice how I matched up each of our like terms by giving the squareds one underline, the linear terms, the linear degrees 2 underline, and then I gave our constants 3 underlines, just so we know that we've gotten all of our different terms and we've combined everything and haven't left anything out. Now to classify this, if it has the largest degree is 2, we call that a quadratic. And if it is 1, 2, 3 terms, it's a trinomial. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the one below this. We're going to have you all do 2 and 4 on your own. So let's look at number 3. Again, we are adding, so we can just drop the parentheses and add. So like terms, negative 5x to the third plus 3x to the third gives us negative 2x to the third. Negative 3x squared plus 3x squared, well, that gives us 0. Then we have negative 9 minus 2 gives us negative 11. Now we go ahead and classify. We have cubic because the largest degree is 3. And then there are 2 terms, so we call that a binomial. Okay, go ahead, take a few minutes, and try the next 2. See you in a few. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at number 2. So if we notice for this one, 3y to the fourth, there is no other term with a degree of 4, so there's nothing to combine it with. Then I'm going to go ahead and look around for the next highest degree, which is a degree of 3. And again, there's nothing else to combine it with because there's no other term with a degree of 3. Then we have 9y squared minus 5y squared. If we combine those, we get 4y squared. And then there's nothing to combine the 6y with, so we just bring that along with. There is one term with a degree of 4. We call that quartic. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so that's a polynomial. Example number 4, we have 7a to the fifth plus 2a to the fifth. We get 9a to the fifth. 3a to the fourth, there's no other term with a degree of 4, so it just stays as is. And then same thing with our term negative 5a squared. There's nothing to combine it with, so we just go ahead and bring it down. The degree is 5, and there are 1, 2, 3 terms, so it's a trinomial, 5th degree trinomial. Okay, now we're moving on to subtracting polynomials. You can subtract polynomials by combining like terms, but first you must distribute the negative sign. Then classify, name the polynomial. So distributing that negative, that's something that students forget sometimes. So if we take a look at number 5, we have the first polynomial minus the second polynomial. When we are subtracting, remember, there is that invisible 1 there that we need to go ahead and distribute to each term before we go ahead and combine like terms. So unlike addition, we cannot just drop the parentheses and begin combining. We need to distribute first. So negative 1 times 2x squared gives us negative 2x squared. Negative 1 times negative x gives us positive x. And negative 1 times negative 6 gives us positive 6. Now we can go ahead and combine like terms. 5x squared minus 2x squared is 3x squared. 3x plus x gives us 4x. 2 and 6 gives us 8. So our degree is 2. Again, this is a quadratic. Degree of 2 is quadratic. Degree of 4 is quartic. And then we have 1, 2, 3 terms, gives us a trinomial. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and check out, let's check out number 7. We'll go down again. So we have that invisible -1. We need to go ahead and distribute that. So I am rewriting the first polynomial, and then now I'm going to distribute. So -5x to the third plus 9x squared plus 2. Now we combine like terms. -2x to the third minus 5x to the third gives us -7x to the third. Then we go ahead and look. We have 8x squared plus 9x squared gives us 17x squared. And then we have 7 plus 2 is 9. So our degree is 3. We get a cubic. 1, 2, 3 terms is a trinomial. Cubic trinomial. Okay, go ahead and try the next two. Check back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at number 6. So after we distribute the negative and we combine like terms, we should end up with 18x to the fourth plus x to the third plus x squared. Our highest degree is a degree of 4, which makes it a quartic, and 1, 2, 3 makes it a trinomial. Number 8, same deal. We need to distribute the negative because we are subtracting. And then after we subtract, we can combine like terms. Our highest degree is 2. So it's a quadratic. 4 is quartic, 2 is quadratic, and 1, 2, 3 terms makes it a trinomial. Okay, awesome. Very good job today. Day 1 of Unit 8. Please reach out to your teacher if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.